Grammar can feel hard, not because you're not smart, but because many people see it like a puzzle with many pieces. I've been teaching English for over 17 years, and during that time, I've made a lot of mistakes as a teacher and as a language learner myself. And at first, I thought I was doing everything right. I followed the book, I explained the rules, I gave exercises, but something didn't feel right. And that's when things changed. I started to notice what really helped learners improve. And I learned from some amazing teachers and language experts, and from my own challenges with learning French and Korean. So, if grammar has ever made you feel confused, bored, or stuck, well, you're not alone. Let's make grammar work for you. So here are 15 tips that come from real classrooms, real mistakes, and real progress. Ready? Let's go. Tip 1 is use grammar in real life and real contexts. I always say it's all good and well knowing the names of car parts, but that won't teach you to drive. When I first started teaching English around 17 years ago, I was told to buy the grammar book, Grammar in Use by Raymond Murphy. And that was my grammar teaching Bible. And when I started to teach grammar, I did it chapter by chapter. Present simple, past simple, present perfect. I explained all the rules. I gave all the exercises. And the students, they passed the tests, but they didn't use grammar in real life. They couldn't speak naturally or express themselves with confidence. And that's when I realized I was teaching parts of the car, but not teaching anyone how to drive. Over time, I saw that teaching grammar when students really needed it, when they were trying to say something, worked much better than just following a grammar plan. I didn't just teach a rule because it was next in the book. I waited until it came up in conversation, and that's when it really started to make sense. And things started to change. My students didn't just memorize grammar, they started using it. So, if you're a learner, this means one thing. Don't just study grammar, live with it. You don't need to learn every rule before you speak. You just need to see it, try it, and use it in your world. So use the grammar you learn in a real conversation and make it yours. Imagine you learn the phrase or the grammar, I should have told you. Now you make your own sentences. I should have studied more. I should have called her back. I should have left earlier. Remember, when we speak quickly, it sounds like should have. I should have called her back. I should have left earlier. But the more you make the sentence yours, the more automatic it becomes. So learn grammar in context. Grammar becomes more clear when you see it in action. So instead of learning past perfect equals had and past participle, just learn the phrase I had already eaten when she arrived. Suddenly, the grammar isn't just a formula, it's part of a story. So watch or listen to real conversations, Read books or subtitles, listen to podcasts, notice what people actually say. Ask yourself, what grammar is being used here, and can I say something similar about myself? That's contextual grammar, and it sticks. So here's something you can do today. Read or listen to real English. That's books, podcasts, subtitles, YouTube videos. Notice one sentence that sounds natural or interesting and ask, what tense is it? What structure is it? And can I say something similar about me? Then make your own version. Imagine you hear the phrase, I've been feeling tired all week. You can make your own phrase, like, I've been feeling a bit down today. It's not about copying. It's about seeing, understanding, and reusing grammar that's already alive. Grammar isn't something you prepare forever. It's something you do. So speak it, write it, use it when it matters most. And that's how you stop studying grammar and finally start speaking. Tip 2. Notice grammar in real life. The difference between a good learner and a great learner is one word, noticing. And I learned that from the famous linguist Richard Schmidt and his noticing hypothesis. So when you read or listen, slow down and don't just focus on the meaning. Look at the grammar. Notice what tense is used. Notice the word order and notice how the sentence is built. Ask yourself, why did they say has been instead of was? Why did they say at night but in the morning? Why do they say do here in this sentence? You see, after a few years of teaching grammar, I realized something important. The students who improved the most were the ones who noticed patterns for themselves. They were the ones who asked questions like, why did they say I've been waiting instead of I waited? That kind of curiosity, that little pause to stop and think is really powerful, and it makes passive learners become confident speakers. And when I was learning Korean, I started doing the same thing. I would hear a phrase in a drama or see something in a message and pause. I'd think, why did they say it like that? What's going on here? And sometimes I didn't understand, but I'd still write it down to check later. That moment of attention made a huge difference for me. So what can you do? Well, when you read something in English or watch a video, just like the last tip, choose a sentence. Ask what grammar is it using and can I say something similar myself? You will start to see grammar everywhere and your brain will start to make those connections on its own. And if you want a challenge, try comparing two similar grammar structures. For example, I used to go and I'm used to going, or he stopped smoking versus he stopped to smoke. These small differences carry big meaning, and noticing them builds true grammar awareness. Tip 3. Learn grammar in chunks and phrases. So look, we don't speak in rules. We speak in patterns. And grammar is easier when you learn it inside real phrases, not single words, not abstract rules. Think about these. I used to live there. I've been meaning to call you. If I were you. Each one is a ready-made piece of grammar you can actually use. When I first started teaching English, I noticed the most fluent speakers weren't the ones that just knew the rule, but they knew the chunk. They weren't saying, used to plus verb. They just said, I used to live there, like one natural piece. So if you want to speak more naturally, don't just learn used to equals past habit. Learn, I used to play football. I used to be shy. I used to hate grammar. Now I love it. So take the grammar, turn it into a phrase, a chunk, and make it yours. Tip 4, get feedback from real people. You can't fix what you don't know is broken. So if you don't know you're making a mistake, how are you going to fix it? Feedback shows you what you can't see yourself. Maybe it's a small grammar mistake that you keep making, but no one has ever told you. So I have been thinking about feedback for years, literally. And as a teacher, I have tried so many different ways to give it. And as a learner, I have learned what kind of feedback works best for me. Some people want corrections in the moment, so their teacher or language partner might say, oh, stop, don't say it like that, say it like this. Some people like soft, gentle correction, like when someone repeats what you said, but with the correct grammar. Others prefer delayed feedback, like writing down the common mistakes during the conversation and then giving the corrections all together at the end. Personally, I like this one the most because it doesn't interrupt your flow and it helps you think calmly after speaking. Now, sometimes if you trust your teacher or language partner, right, you have a good relationship, it can also be helpful for them to say, could you say that again, please? Right? Could you say that again, please? That tiny question shows that you made a mistake and it gives you a chance to fix it yourself. So that's a gentle signal, a sign. You stop, think, and correct yourself. And that kind of feedback also builds awareness, not just correction. So there's no one perfect way to give or receive feedback, but I do believe that a mixture of different types of feedback is best. But what's really important to you is this. Know what kind of feedback works best for you and make sure that your teacher or language partner knows about it. So yeah, fluency and accuracy don't always go together. So it's a good idea to have a mix of feedback. So what do I do with all this feedback I hear you say? Well, good question. Because if you don't do anything with the feedback, then it is useless, right? It doesn't help you. So I recommend making a mistake journal. It's very simple. Just Every time somebody corrects you, you write down the mistake and the correct version in your notebook or a note app on your phone. Then, once a week, review what you wrote. Say it out loud. Write your own examples and try it in real conversation. This habit helps you notice your weak spots and actually fix them, one sentence at a time. It's a very simple way to turn short-term feedback into long-term progress. And if you want to practice your English with others and get useful but kind feedback from myself, please look at my speaking groups in the description. We meet to talk, improve, and grow. You will get help when you need it and support from others who actually care. This is a really great way for you to improve your speaking, grammar, and many other parts of your English. So if you're interested, have a look in the description and I'll see you there. Otherwise, let's go to the next tip. Tip 5. Build your speaking islands. You see, when you speak in your first language, it's like walking. You don't think, you just go. But when you speak in a foreign language like English, it's more like swimming. You're treading water, trying not to sink into the silence. That's why it's so important to build islands, safe places in your speaking that you know really well. So what is an island? Well, it's not just one sentence. It's more like a short monologue, a short speech with a few connected sentences about one topic with natural grammar and vocabulary built in. In tip 3, we talked about chunks, right? Just phrases like I used to, I've been meaning to. You can see them like sand or stones, the building blocks that help you create your speaking islands. So one chunk is useful, but when you connect them together, you can make a solid piece of fluent speech that you can stand on. And that is your island. So your island could sound something like this. I'm going to read it. The PDF is in the description. This is when you introduce yourself. So, ready? Hi, I'm Mark. So I come from Spain and I'm 30 years old. I work as a software engineer at a tech company. In my spare time, I love playing the guitar and going for runs. I also enjoy watching movies, especially on weekends. I live with my dog in a cozy little apartment right in the heart of Madrid. And one interesting fact about me is that I've been to more than 20 countries. So yeah, that's a bit about me. So that's a grammar island. It feels real, it flows naturally, and it includes loads of useful grammar, phrases, and vocabulary. So when I was learning Korean, I decided what I wanted to talk about, something I would actually use in real life, and I would write a short monologue, right? A short speech, using natural phrases and grammar I was learning at the time. Then I would get it checked by a language partner or a teacher, and sometimes they would even send the audio so I could copy the pronunciation, the rhythm, the tone, the intonation. Then I practiced it again and again until I felt ready. I didn't just keep it in my notebook, right? I went out and used it. I went to the convenience store, the coffee shop, the bakery, the hairdresser, and I used the same island over and over again. Each time I became a little more confident, a little more fluent, and it worked. So how do you build your own islands? Well, choose a topic you want to talk about, maybe your hobbies, family, daily routine. Then write at least 3 to 5 connected sentences. Add useful grammar and natural phrases. Then ask a teacher, a language partner, or even ChatGPT to check it and get the voice recording if you can. Practice it until it feels automatic. Now, this part's really important. Think about possible follow-up questions. That means questions people might ask while you are speaking, while you are giving your island, right? And try to answer them. If you can't think of any follow-up questions, again, you can ask a language partner, teacher, or ChatGPT. Then go and use it in real life as many times as you can. This might mean speaking to many language partners online. You don't need to be perfect. You just need a few strong islands and the courage to use them. So I have made a free island in the description, so please try it out. Speak it out loud. It will help you with so many things, even listening, but the grammar, the collocations, new phrases, and also how to make your own island using those phrases. And if it helps, you can also get the full set of 3 islands in the description, or join my Patreon to get an island more often. Each one is designed to help you speak with confidence, practice real grammar in context, answer natural follow-up questions, and to help you build a strong base, right? A foundation for fluency. Okay, tip 6. Practice grammar in all skills. Grammar isn't knowledge, it's a skill. And skills only grow when you use them. So if you want grammar to really stick, then you need to use it in every way. Speak it, read it, write it, hear it. Each skill helps the others. If you only read grammar but never say it out loud, then it will stay passive. It will just stay quiet in your mind. And if you only write it but never listen for it, then you will miss it in conversation. Okay, let me give you an example. So let's imagine you learned the new grammar. I had never tried sushi before I moved to Japan. So when you're reading, I want you to look out for, notice the same grammar structure in stories and books and articles that you read. You need to read a lot. And this is the same for podcasts or listening material you use. Listen out for the same grammar structure. I think this comes from the red car theory, which is when you focus on something, you start seeing it everywhere. So for example, red car, I say, okay, focus on a red car. You will go outside and you will see all the red cars everywhere. This actually happened to me because I recently bought a new bright blue car and now all I see is blue cars. But my point is that you will start to notice it in the reading and listening materials that you use. So with the same example, write it. Create your own sentences using the same structure, right? The same grammar. For example, I had already finished dinner when she called. And speak it. Try using it when you tell a story about the past. You don't have to practice all 4 skills every day, but try to mix them. Even small actions will really help you. For example, record a new sentence on your phone with the new grammar. Text a friend or a language partner using it. Notice it in a YouTube video like this, or just say it out loud while going for a walk. The more you use grammar in different ways, the faster your brain connects it all and the more fluent you become. Tip 7. Use spaced review and mixed review. What you don't review, you forget. What you repeat, you remember. Now, you have probably experienced something like this. One day, you learn a new grammar rule. For example, the present perfect, right? She has finished her homework. I have eaten my breakfast already. And it makes sense. You understand it. But a week later, you try and use it in conversation and it's completely gone. Now, that's not your fault. That's just how memory works. So to remember grammar long term, you need to do 2 things. Spaced review, reviewing it again over time, and mixed review, practicing it with grammar you already know. Let's look at both. Let's start with spaced review. So imagine you learn, if it rains, I'll stay at home. This is called the first conditional. So don't just study it and then forget it, right? Review it tomorrow, then review it in a few days, then review it the next week, then review it a month later. Each time your brain gets a small reminder, and that reminder tells your brain this is useful. Keep it. Because grammar doesn't stay in your head because you learned it once. It stays because you keep bringing it back. Okay, let's look at a mixed review example. So imagine you want to practice the past, present, and future. Try saying or writing, yesterday I went shopping. At the moment, I'm relaxing. And tomorrow, I'm going to meet my friend. So you use the past, the present, continuous, and the future all together. And that's real communication and real grammar practice. Right, let's go a bit deeper. Imagine you want to practice these 4 grammar points. Here is what it could sound like. So, I went hiking last weekend, which was great because I've been feeling a bit stressed lately. And I'm going to visit my parents this weekend to relax. And honestly, if I had more time off, I'd probably travel somewhere further. So you have just used 4 grammar structures in one short monologue, naturally and smoothly. So how can you use this? Well, here is your mini challenge. Each week, review a grammar point you have already studied and then challenge yourself to mix it with something new. Try it in a short journal entry, right? A diary, or a voice message, or put it in your new island speech. Remember, real fluency comes when you stop thinking of grammar like these separate boxes and start mixing it the way we use it in real life. Tip 8. Learn the rule after you've felt it. Don't start with the map, walk first, then check where you've been. Most learners are told to study the rule first, but that can make it harder, not easier. So instead, try this. Number 1, see the grammar in action, a sentence, a podcast, a show. Number 2, use your intuition. What do you think it means? What feeling does it give? Then afterwards, check the rule when your brain already has something to connect it to. Imagine this. You're walking around a new city. You don't open the map yet, but you notice a park, a cafe, a few landmarks. Later, when you open up the map, it all makes sense. You feel where everything is, not just know it. And that is what grammar can be like. So let your brain walk first. So when I was learning Korean in my first year, I kept hearing the phrase 거든요 at the end of sentences, and I didn't know what it meant. And one day I heard the phrase something like 오늘은 안 갈 거예요. 너무 피곤하거든요. And I understood the feeling. I noticed that it gently, softly was giving a reason for something. And then in another moment, I heard someone shout, 아니거든, right? 아니거든. The same grammar ending, but a completely different feeling. It felt more defensive and emotional. And I didn't need to know the grammar yet. I understood the feeling. Later, I learned how 거든요 exactly is used, but because I had heard it so many times in many different real-life situations that it clicked immediately. So it wasn't just a grammar point, right? It was something I had experienced. So remember, your brain learns best when it experiences grammar in real moments with emotion and context. When you hear something interesting, you feel its meaning and then check the rule later, it sticks much better. So next time you hear or read a sentence that feels interesting, pause and do what I said. So you ask yourself, what's happening here? Can I guess the meaning? Can I change or adapt the sentence for me? And then, if you want, you can check the grammar rule afterwards. Because the best way to learn grammar isn't to memorize the rule first. It is to walk the path and check the map after. Okay, so tip 9 is not just about grammar, it's also about speaking and fluency. And the tip is, don't wait to be perfect. Look, fluency is messy at first because that's how it grows. I hear many learners say things like, I'll speak more when I know more grammar, or just a few more months, or I don't want to sound stupid. And I understand, I get it. But here's the truth. If you wait for perfect grammar, you're never going to speak. It's like waiting for the perfect weather to go outside, and you will just sit there while life passes you by. The thing is, fluency doesn't start clean. It starts with hesitation, mistakes, rephrasing, weird pauses. And that's normal. Every fluent speaker has been through that stage. They have experienced that stage. And guess what? They didn't wait to know all the rules. They just started speaking. You don't get good at grammar by waiting. You get good by using what you already know, even if it's basic, even if it's wrong sometimes. Because when you speak, you learn faster. You remember the words better, you notice what's missing, and you start fixing things as you go. Think about how you learned your first language. You didn't wait until you could perfectly say, "Dearest mother, may I please have a glass of your finest water?" You probably said something like, "Mummy, water," or "Wawa," or whatever water is in your language. But people understood you, and then you improved. Same with English. You have to start messy to grow fluent. So this week, say something in English, even if it's not perfect. Send a voice message. Join a speaking group. Speak in front of the mirror. Just start before you're ready, because waiting for perfect grammar is just another way of saying, "I'm too scared to start." And I've been there, okay? And your future self will wish you had started sooner. So start now. Okay, it's time for tip 10, which is focus on useful grammar first. Don't study how to build a rocket if all you need is a bicycle. There is a lot of grammar out there. Passive voice, phrasal verbs, relative clauses, subjunctive moods. It's endless. But here's the truth. You don't need to learn everything at once. And trying to do that will actually slow you down. So if you are A2 or B1 level, the most useful grammar is the grammar you use in daily life. So that means present and past tenses, future tenses, basic question forms, modals like can, should, might, and the first and second conditionals. These structures, these forms help you talk about daily life, give opinions, make plans, and ask for help. Then grow from there. When you feel very comfortable with the basics, start exploring. Look at different ways to ask questions. Look at more modal verbs, right? Must, may, might, would, could. Experiment with the passive voice. It was made in Japan. Or the film was directed by. The point is, build confidence first, and then expand your grammar toolbox over time. You know, When I was teaching English in France in 2010, I was teaching beginner and intermediate learners, and I noticed something. The students who improved the fastest weren't learning everything. They were learning what they needed. They weren't getting lost in advanced grammar rules. They were using grammar to talk about life. I can't come today. If it rains, I'll stay at home. I didn't understand. Could you say that again, please? Simple, real, useful. So this week, look at your notes or study plan and ask yourself, is this something I would actually say in English? If not, then put it aside for now and focus on what will help you speak, connect, and live in English today. Okay, tip 11. I have talked about this in another video, but I don't care. Tip 11 is embrace mistakes. Mistakes aren't failures, they are footsteps. Every mistake you make is a message. So if you say, he don't like it, that's not a failure. That's your brain showing you what needs attention, and that's where the learning is. Over the years as a teacher, I have noticed that the students who are afraid of making mistakes usually take a lot longer to improve. They try really hard not to make any errors. They speak less because they are nervous, and they feel bad or embarrassed when they get something wrong. And because of that, they miss so many chances to grow. So what about the students who improve the fastest? Well, they make mistakes every day. They try new things even if they are not sure. They learn from correction or even self-correct. And a very important one is they laugh at themselves and keep going. It's not about being fearless. It's about being willing, ready to try. And for grammar, mistakes are how your brain notices what it didn't quite understand yet, so it can fix it next time. But what if someone laughs at me? I hear you say. Well, some people will laugh at you, and that's okay. That's the beauty of language learning, okay? You're human, you're trying, you are brave enough to open your mouth and speak, and that already puts you ahead of so many others. Challenge time. The next time you make a mistake, don't think something like, I'm so bad at English. Instead, say, thank you, mistake. Now I know what to work on. And that mindset will change everything. Tip 12, make grammar a daily habit. A little bit every day is much better than one big session once a week. You don't need hours and hours to learn grammar. In fact, most people who try to study grammar for hours either burn out or avoid it altogether. What really works is a small but simple habit like 10 minutes a day. Here's what 10 minutes could look like. So first, learn a new sentence and practice saying it out loud. For example, I've been trying to eat healthily lately. I've been trying to eat healthily lately. I've been trying to eat healthily lately. Next, review one sentence you already know and change it a little bit. So, for example, you learned, if I had more time, I'd learn another language. So you change it. If I had more time, I'd go to the gym more often. Next, listen to a podcast clip or video and write down 1 to 2 useful phrases and say them out loud. And that's it. It doesn't feel like much, but that's the point. So why does this work? Well, your brain learns better in small chunks, repeated often. Think of it like watering a plant. Too much water once a week and it dies. But a little water every day and it grows. Same with grammar. Other things I recommend: save short grammar examples on your phone notes. You can listen to English for 2 to 3 minutes a day, but very carefully, right? Active listening. And try to use one phrase in a real conversation, message, or journal entry, right? Like your diary. Over time, this helps you use grammar without thinking, and it starts to feel natural and easy. Okay, here is your challenge. Choose a 10-minute grammar habit and start today. Make it small, easy, and realistic. That means something that is possible and not too difficult. Because grammar doesn't grow through pressure. It grows through presence. That means grammar gets better when you relax and you use it a lot, not when you worry or try too hard. Tip 13 is make it fun and motivating. What entertains you trains you. So when something is fun, you will learn more. And let's be honest, grammar can be boring. Rules, exercises. It can feel like being back at school. You might remember the rule, but you won't really use it. But it doesn't have to be like that. If you want to remember grammar, it needs to be fun, personal, and useful for your life. The word I'm thinking of is relevant, right? Useful for your life. So here are some things you can do. First, watch a show you love in English with subtitles. I say with subtitles because it will be easier to find and notice grammar patterns like you should have, what if, I've been doing. So you can easily write them down. Another thing you can do is play grammar quizzes and games online or in apps. I will put all the links in the description, in the free PDF, okay? But one website is English Club Grammar. That's great for quick checks, quick grammar checks. Another great one is Cambridge Dictionary Grammar Quizzes. They are fun and simple, great for review. There is also grammarbook.com, but only the quizzes are free, but it's still a good website. Okay, now apps. I really like Johnny Grammar Word Challenge. This is an app made by the British Council and it's very fast fast-paced, right? It's very fast and fun. So try that. Other ones are English grammar games 10 in 1. That's quite good. Or English Grammar Star. And that app also has pronunciation games you might like. So please try one of these websites or apps. Even 5 to 10 minutes a day can really boost, right? Improve your grammar awareness. Another thing you can do is write funny, silly, or creative sentences with new grammar, because when something is funny, you remember it a lot more easily. For example, let's do second conditional. If I were a cat, I would run a coffee shop and judge everyone. Another great thing you can do is talk about your hobbies using the grammar you are learning. For example, I am going to bake a cake later, or I've been learning the guitar for 3 years. So make grammar fit your life, not the other way round. That means don't change your life just to study grammar rules. Use grammar to help you talk about your real life. And remember, fun is personal. So if you like puzzles, do quizzes. If you love people, find a language partner. If you like music, sing grammar into your brain. You see, when something feels enjoyable, your brain pays attention. You remember it, you use it, and you keep coming back. That's why people remember funny phrases or grammar they learned from their favorite shows or from music. I still remember actually the grammar from some of my favorite French songs when I was a young teenager. I remember all the lyrics even. You want to hear? Okay. Embrasse-moi de ce bord, viens mon ange, retracer le ciel. J'irai crucifier ton corps, pourrais-je tes punaises et tes ailes embrasser. I could keep going on for the whole song, guys. But I learned a lot of grammar from that song. I'm a bit embarrassed now. So you will remember grammar like this way more than anything you read from a workbook. Okay, you want a challenge? Here is a challenge. Ask yourself, how can I make grammar fun for me? Whatever you love, use it to practice grammar, because if you enjoy the journey, you will keep going for the long run, right? For the long term, for a long time. Okay, if you're still here, well done, because tip 14 is one of my favorites, and it is create your own grammar bank. You see, your best grammar book is the one you build yourself. You don't need to memorize every rule from a textbook. Instead, start building your own grammar bank. That is a collection of real sentences that feel interesting, useful, and personal to you. This isn't about grammar exercises, okay? It's about noticing, saving, and using the grammar that actually matters in your life. In tip 4, I talked about the mistake journal, Well, this could be another section in the same book. So every time you hear or read a great sentence, save it. It doesn't need to be a physical book. You can write it on a Google Doc, on notes on your phone, on flashcards, or a voice memo on your phone. But remember to personalize it. That means make the sentence yours. Don't just copy it. For example, if you see, I've been working here for 2 years. Now you can make your own. I've been working here since April. Or use a different verb. I've been reading this book all week. If you read, you should take a break, then you could write, I should go to bed earlier, or I should call my friend tomorrow. Here is a more difficult one. So imagine you hear, what I love the most about this city is the energy. This is called a cleft sentence. You don't need to know that, but I will make a video on this. Anyway, sorry. So, what I love the most about this city is the energy. You can write, what I love the most about this movie is the main character. He felt so interesting and real. So you see, it's not just copying. It's playing with the structure, the form of the sentence, right? We are bending it to fit our life, our feelings, our world. And that is how grammar becomes yours. So please remember, when grammar comes from real examples and you make it relevant to your life, relevant means useful to your life, connected to your life, it sticks, right? You will remember it for a long time, right? And the more you do this, the more natural and confident your grammar becomes, even without thinking about it. So, the challenge for this tip is easy. Start a grammar bank today. Even just one sentence. Okay? Write it down. Change it. Use it. Make it personal. Because the best grammar guide in the world is the one you write yourself. Okay, here we are. It is the last tip, tip 15. If you are still watching, well done and thank you so much. So tip 15 is get more input than you think you need. A long time ago, I heard a teacher say, grammar is caught, not taught. So learners get better at grammar when they see it and hear it a lot, not just by reading grammar rules. You learn grammar more naturally when you are exposed to it more often and when you try to use it in real life. So if you want grammar to feel natural, if you want to stop thinking about rules and just use them, you need a lot of input. And that means reading, listening, watching or listening to real conversations, absorbing the language every day. So read books and subtitles on YouTube. Watch shows or videos with or without English subtitles. Listen to podcasts or audio stories. Scroll through short videos with captions, right, like subtitles on YouTube Shorts, Instagram, or TikTok. It doesn't have to be hard, it just has to be regular. So why does input work for grammar? Well, your brain is smart. The more examples it sees, the more patterns it learns without you even trying. This is what language experts call comprehensible input. That's real English that you mostly understand. And it's how your brain learns grammar naturally. You will start noticing things like, oh, they always use have you ever when talking about life experiences. Or maybe you think, oh, that's how they use been in I've been there or I've been working all day. These moments of curiosity mean your brain is connecting the dots. And when it's time to speak or write, grammar will feel natural. This is how native speakers learn grammar, by hearing it again and again and again. And you can do the same thing. Think of it like this. The more input, so reading and listening, the more patterns in your head, and then the more grammar you can use. It's like drinking water. The more input, the more output. Don't worry, it's apple juice. So no pressure, no textbooks, just feed your brain a little bit of English every day. Let grammar soak in like a sponge through stories, songs, subtitles, and real people. This challenge is easy. It's increase your English input, right? Get more input. You can listen to a podcast while brushing your teeth, or read one page of something interesting before going to bed, or watch 10 minutes of a show with or without English subtitles. The more English your brain sees, the more grammar it understands, naturally, automatically, and for life. All right, we are coming to the end of the video. If you are still here, wow, I'm amazed. Thank you so much. As always, please let me know you have watched the whole video by writing in the comments, grammar all the way. Then I will know you watched the whole video. Remember, grammar isn't something you master overnight. You don't become an expert overnight. It is something you grow into step by step, or sentence by sentence. So please choose 1 or 2 tips from this video and actually try it this week. That's where the progress begins. And if you found this video helpful, please look at the links in the description. There are free PDFs, the free island PDF I recommend. You can get the full set as well, or join my speaking groups. So I'll see you there if you're interested. Thanks so much again. This video actually took more than 2 weeks to plan and prepare what tips I wanted to give you. So please let me know in the comments the best tip, or Maybe you have your own tips to help others. That would be great too. Okay, that is all from me. Thank you so much again, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.